You know, for over 150 years, the thrill of chasing gold has been etched into history. But today, that entire tradition is facing a huge crisis, a web of new rules and restrictions. And the craziest part? The solution might not be some fancy new gadget, but a really clever piece of tech from the past. Let's dig in. This is what you're hearing all through the prospecting community right now. There's this genuine feeling that a way of life is under threat, and that the rules of the game are changing, and changing fast. So what's really going on here? Right, so how did we even get to this point? Well, this didn't just happen overnight. It's been more like a slow, steady squeeze. A whole century of rules shifting and changing, gradually closing the gates on this historic tradition. Okay, so take a look at this timeline. It all starts pretty small, back in 1901, with some rules to protect farmland from big river dredging operations. But the real game changer was 1990, when suction dredging got banned. After that, through the 2000s, the restrictions just snowballed. Soon, most of the high-powered equipment was effectively outlawed across Australia. And just like that, one of the most accessible goldfields in the world became one of the most restricted. So what all this really boils down to is a simple and kind of frustrating new reality. The modern prospector's toolkit has basically been gutted. The very machines that were designed for efficiency, dredges, pumps, high bankers, are now pretty much off limits. And it leaves a lot of people asking, okay, so what's next? Now, as if that wasn't complicated enough, just as all the tools are being taken away, this huge new factor comes into play that changes everything. A record-breaking price for gold. 7,000 Australian dollars for one single ounce. I mean, come on. At a price like that, we're not just talking about a weekend hobby anymore, are we? This is a serious financial opportunity, and that kind of incentive just changes the entire game. And this, right here, is the central problem, the real catch-22. The crazy high price of gold is the biggest reason to get out there, but it's also the biggest threat. See, more money means more people are paying attention, and more attention means stricter enforcement from the government, which gives them all the reason in the world to tighten the screws even more. And let's be honest, with that much money on the line, the temptation to cut a few corners, it gets pretty strong. Some people might be tempted to dig where they're not supposed to, or disturb more ground than they should, and that's dangerous, because it risks turning what has always been a low-impact hobby into a real environmental issue, giving regulators all the ammo they need to shut things down. So, you're caught between legal restrictions on one side and this massive financial pressure on the other. Where do you even turn? Well, it turns out the most innovative solution might actually be a really old one. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you can't use your pumps, your dredges, or your high bankers, how on earth do you process enough dirt to make it worth your while? How do you stay legal and still make it profitable? Okay, so let me introduce you to the rocker box, sometimes called a gold cradle. This simple hand-powered machine was basically perfected back in the 1850s gold rush, and it's a brilliant piece of low-tech engineering. It just uses a gentle rocking motion and a little bit of water to let gravity do all the hard work, separating the heavy gold from the light gravel. No motor, no pump, just really, really clever physics. And what's so incredible is how this 170-year-old technology is the perfect answer to today's problems. Because there's no motor, it's legal almost everywhere. It's super low impact, which keeps the environmental folks happy. And the modern ones have evolved. They use advanced materials and better sluice designs, so they're incredibly efficient and easy to carry around. So we know why it's such a great tool for today, but how does this simple-looking box actually find gold? Well, the process is just beautifully straightforward. It's honestly so simple. You shovel your gravel into the hopper at the top, pour some water over it, and then you just rock the cradle from side to side. That gentle motion turns everything into a slurry, which lets the super heavy gold sink down and get trapped in the matting below. Meanwhile, all the worthless sand and rocks just wash right out. It's elegant, it's effective, and it's all powered by you. But hey, don't let that simplicity fool you into thinking it's not efficient. In actual field tests, a modern rocker box captured 90% of the gold that was run through it. For a hobbyist, losing 10% is totally acceptable. It's just proof that you don't need some loud, gas-guzzling motor to get amazing results. So, at the end of the day, the rocker box just hits that perfect sweet spot. It's way, way faster than sitting there painting by hand, but it completely avoids all the legal and environmental drama that comes with motorized gear. It really is the ultimate middle ground. But here's the thing. Having the right tool is only half the battle. The real solution, the thing that's actually going to protect the future of prospecting, has less to do with the technology you use and way more to do with your mindset. This is the choice that every single prospector is facing right now. Do you try to push the boundaries, bend the rules, and give regulators the exact excuse they're looking for to shut everything down? Or do you become a shining example of environmental stewardship and prove that prospecting can and should exist alongside conservation? And we're not talking about some vague, fuzzy idea here. We're talking about a practical code of conduct. You fill in your holes. Period. You leave every single site cleaner than you found it. You respect the land, you respect the rules, and you respect the people who manage it. These are the simple actions that build trust and protect this tradition for everybody. And this might just be the most powerful idea in this whole thing, because when it's time to defend prospecting, arguing isn't going to be enough. The only thing that's going to matter is the physical evidence you leave behind on the ground, a clear track record of responsible, ethical behavior. And this distinction, it's everything. See, being lawful just means you're following the rules. That's the bare minimum. But being ethical, that's about holding yourself to an even higher standard. It's about doing the right thing even when nobody's watching and the law doesn't say you have to. That's the path forward. So, okay, does this whole ethical, old-school approach actually pay off? Can you really find gold this way? Well, here's your proof. In just 3 hours of work, using only the rocker box and a strict leave-no-trace mindset, the result was 1.4 grams of beautiful gold. And what's that actually worth in today's crazy market? Over 300 Australian dollars. This is the ultimate proof that you don't have to choose between being ethical and being successful. This old-school solution isn't just legal and low impact, it's actually profitable. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about the gold you pull out of the ground. It's about the respect you show for the land and making sure that future generations get to have the same opportunities. It's all about the legacy you choose to leave behind.